Greetings, citizens of Earth. This time I thought I'd talk about the governments need to be audited. Um, if you watch my video, Devil's a Vegetable, he pretty much is. And one of the problems we have with going over there and beating the shit out of the devil is that he can't do anything himself. Our side's doing it. How would it bother you to go over there and beat the living shit out of the devil when he's not doing it? Our side's doing it. How would it bother you? See that problem there? But anyways, uh, subject I wanted to talk about was auditing the governments. Now that we're getting here, we need to go through everything and start finding our starting point and where we begin at. And like I said, that was pretty much an idiot. And that's the reason why we can't go over there and beat the living crap out of him, because he ain't doing nothing. It's our side that's doing it. If he was doing it, we could go over there and beat the shit out of him. But since he ain't doing it, how would it bother you to go over there and beat the crap out of him when it's our side that's doing it? See that problem there? So anyways, they pretty much couldn't spend that money. So the government's got a ton of money. And if you go and start trying to audit them and everything, you'll see that they couldn't spend the money. They pretty much got a ton of money. And I don't know everything on what we should do with that money, but, God, the heaven guy, and his son Jesus, they're doing life without end, life never ending. And I thought that money, well, there's a bunch of money, would be, a good staying there. And he's going to bring all the dead back to life. And I don't know if we need any money for that subject there, that he's going to bring the dead back to life. And good and evil are being separated. Thank God. So evil's going to be with evil, and the love species is going to be with the love species. So he's going to separate everybody. And but do we need that money when we get over there? That's year 3000. That's a long time. But so I don't know what all to be doing with it. There's a lot of money. So there's a ton of money. You could probably drown in all of it. Don't wish for gold, you'll get squashed. But anyways, we need to figure out where we begin, where we start at. So we need to go through that, audit all the governments, city, county, state, and federal governments, and figure out where we begin and how we proceed. And like I said, they got a ton of money. Don't wish for gold, you may get squashed like a bug. But they couldn't spend the money. The devil is pretty much an idiot. That's not him, that's our side having to help them, or else we'll die from going past our bodies. So that's not him. He's an idiot. And like I said, that's why we can't go over there and beat the living fuck out of him, because he's not doing it. Our side's doing it. That's why we can't go beat the fuck out of him. See that problem? Our side's doing it. How would it bother you to go over there and beat the fuck out of him when it's our side that's doing it? See that problem? So anyways, we need to figure out where we begin and everything, and I guess that sounds like a good place to start, is auditing all the governments, city, county, state, and federal governments. And like I said, we got a ton of money because they couldn't do anything. They're an idiot. Another thing popped up. They're not interested in the money. They're interested in turning people into devils, or brain dead you if you don't want to be one. So that's what they're interested in, turning people into devils or brain deading you if you don't want to be a devil. They figure they win either way. And as long as they exist, you're going to live with that back pain. So you see the situation we're in? So they're not interested in that money. They're interested in turning people into devils, or brain dead you if you don't want to be one. And as long as they exist, you're going to live with that back pain. See that position we're in? So anyways, they're gone. And where do we start rebuilding that? And it sounds like we need to audit everything. And like I said, there's a ton of money. Don't wish for gold, you get squashed like a bug. But where do we begin at and proceed at? And that audit sounds like a Good place to begin. And then how do we spend it? I don't know everything, but y'all can't become evil trying to spend the money. Don't do that. You can't die from going past your bother and you're trying to spend the money. And we sure in the hell don't want to get the fag broken now. Get the fag fixed and keep it fixed. Don't break the damn thing just because you want a chocolate bar. Great, we got to live with the fag thing because you want a goddamn chocolate bar. Don't do that. So don't do that. So, anyways, you can't become evil spending it. And you can't die from going past your bothering you spending it or cause others, either one. And you got to get the fag fixed and you got to keep it fixed. And I sure in the hell don't want that fag broken just because you want a goddamn chocolate bar. You're going to do that, I want the fuck out of here. What about you? But anyways, so we got to figure all these things out. And like I said, money's not the problem. That's another good one. Yeah, you know how every time we're trying to do something, we always do money's the problem. Money's not the problem. So it's how do we do things? So anyway, remember that how we used to do that? Go out and try to do things, and we'd be doing that stuff, and money's the problem. Money's not the problem. So money's not the problem. It's how do you do things without becoming evil, without dying from going past your bother, without keeping the fag broken. That's the problem. How do you get from point A to point B? So that's the problem. How do you get from point A to point B? What else? I don't know what we're going to say on television. I don't think we're going to say all this stuff on television. Y'all can speak one way off of television, and then we're going to be speaking another way on television. Y'all can figure that one out. I think if y'all talk about me on television, you're going to wind up brain dead, aren't you? This amount of money, you probably wind up brain dead too. But y'all can start working on figuring that one out. What do you say off of television? What do you say on television? Y'all can start working on figuring that one out too. But every time you go out and you want to do something, stuff like that, it's always money. Well, it's not money. How do you get from point A to point B? How do you do things without becoming evil, creating evil, dying from going past your boundary, causing others to die from going past your boundary, or keeping the damn fag broken? We're going to have to get it fixed, keep it fixed. Everybody like me is going to be saying, I want the fuck out of here. If you ain't going to get it fixed, keep it fixed, and you let me the fuck out of here. Everybody's going to start talking like that. Watch my video on Need me call police for more explanation. But anyways, yeah, we got a ton of money. And another one I wanted to look at is how much money for each government actually comes in, and then how much do they actually spend, and how much do we actually save. I don't know when we'll get that put together. But how much comes in, how much do they spend, how much do we actually save every year? I don't know. I was wondering about that one. Live on a budget. That was part of it. Live on a budget. We don't even touch that other money. We live on a budget. I wanted to look at all that stuff. I do the bother you. Speak English. So speak English. I do the goddamn bother you. So speak English. I help everybody to keep from becoming evil, to dying from going past their bother you. You're going to have to get that fag fixed and keep fixed. So speak English. Tell me something I can understand. That bother is like a polygraph, lie detector. So see if y'all can create a worldwide language out of that bother you, because it's like a polygraph, lie detector. And see what y'all can do on that. But, speak English. I don't understand that other stuff. You'll swat me the first second you get. You're going to turn around and swat me. I want to forget. Well, goody for you. Just go ahead and forget. But anyways, that's why I like to do the bother you, because it's like a polygraph, lie detector. And if y'all can create a worldwide language out of that, just feel free to start creating a worldwide language out of that. So anyways, where do we start putting everything back together, Ed? Evil's gone. Let's keep it that way. So how you become evil is still here. So evil's gone, but how you become evil still remains. And I told y'all I can't become evil, but there's a lot of people running around who can. So you'll need to be paying attention to that. I'll be keeping an eye on the radar. Remember I told you to fix up my radar? and on health problems and people having problems with the symptoms and everything. I'll be keeping an eye on all that stuff if somebody tells me something. But we have the symptoms that's being caused by irrational behavior. They want a medicine that are the medicines that work on everybody won't work on them. They want something different. We'll be looking at that. So if they need a medicine that won't work on everybody else, they need something special for them, then that's going to get flagged, and we're going to look at that real close. How come medicines that don't work on everybody? How come medicines that don't work on everybody work on you, and how come medicines that you need won't work on us? So, anyways, we'll be looking at all that stuff, and that's like a little flag there. The medicines that work for everyone won't work on you. The medicines that work on you, you better keep that shit away from me. I'm going to shoot your ass. Be nice if they'd do something so we could shoot the motherfucker. That's the problem, is they're not doing it. This side's doing it. And I told y'all can look at what the devil says at 1 million devils and above. If we ever hit 1 million devils and above, then I guess those helping yous will come back. Y'all can look at that. But, once you hit 1 million devils and above, which they did that thousands of years ago, they start talking like that. We were at 1 billion. Yeah, you can look at, what do they say at 1 billion? Where's that asshole that's going to help you? Tell him to get his fucking ass over here. Don't they say something like that? Well, I guess they're all dead now. But anyways, we're at 0 devils. So set everything back to 0 devils. And how do you act when the planet's 0 devils? Don't become the problem. So don't become the problem. So pay attention to where you're going and don't become the problem. So anyways, what do I say about this audit subject? We got a ton of money, but I don't know everything. Like I said, the heaven guy and his son Jesus, they're doing life without end, life never ending. And I thought that a lot of money would help out on that. I got a lot too. I told you my figure's something like a 30-digit figure, which has all been withheld from me. But, that was helping me out on life without end, life never ending, getting over there. And then I told y'all, I don't see anything worthwhile to do with my money without creating evil or causing people to die from going past their body to keep the fag broken. If y'all want to help me, be sure you check those things because I'm tired. So check those things because I'm tired. Make sure nobody's going to become evil. Make sure nobody's going to die from going past their body. Make sure you're going to get that fag fixed and keep it fixed. Be sure you check all that stuff before you check, before you speak to me because I'm tired. So be sure you check all those things before you speak to me because I'm tired. And, but spending my money and spending the government money, I believe, is the same education. So I believe the education is the same. But, be sure you check those things before you speak to me because I'm tired. But, anyways, what do you say? Like Jesus and his father, they're doing life never ending. And, my money, 30-digit figure, I go, well, that helps out on that subject. So maybe I can get over there and start trying to figure out life is never going to end if we do what they plan and everything, have in mind, they're going to keep life going forever without end. So, my money was helping me out with that subject. And, maybe everybody else can start getting over their government, probably ain't the money. The problem is how you get from point A to point B. Maybe it'll start helping everybody else out. How do we do this life? It's never going to end. I don't know if the people that come back to life will be getting any money or not. I don't, that's 3,000. This year is 2025. So that's stuff's year 3,000. I don't need to worry about that right now. But anyways, if y'all are going to be trying to help me out with my money, please be sure you check. Not going to become evil or create evil. Not going to die from going past your boundary or cause others to go past your boundary. Get the fag fixed, keep it fixed. Be sure you check all that stuff before you speak to me because I'm tired. And those governments might appreciate it if you checked all that stuff too because I think everybody's kind of tired. Check all that stuff first. But anyways, The world's ours now, and we can do what we want. We just need to figure out what the hell that means. Well, we want to get the fag fixed, not create evil, and don't cause people to die from going past their boundaries. We want to do all that stuff. But the world's ours now. It's one species world. Love species, so let's keep it that way. And we can do what we want. We're just going to have to start trying to figure out what that is. I guess that's enough for now. But we need to look into auditing all the governments, city, county, state, and federal governments, and figuring out where do we begin. Yeah, they got a lot of money. They got a ton of money. Don't wish for gold. You'll get squashed like a bug. But, but how do we proceed? And what can we do without dying from going past our boundaries or causing others to do that or becoming evil or causing others to become evil? And we got to get the fact fixed or everybody's going to be saying, you ain't going to get that picture. You're going to let me the fuck out of here. I'm going to be first in line, too. But anyways, figure out where do we begin and how we proceed and everything. Yeah, we got a ton of money. But what can we do without becoming evil, creating evil, dying from going past the boundary, causing others to die from going past the boundary, or keeping the fag broken? We got to get it fixed, keep it fixed, or we're going to die from it. That's forever if you want to live that long. But started looking into that stuff, and like I said, I was interested in how much money was coming in, how much money they were spending, and how much money they were saving, and could we live on a budget and not even touch that other money? Y'all know the answers to that stuff? Let's see if y'all can start trying to figure it out. Well, I guess that's enough for now. Citizens of Earth, be cool.